Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Alpine TV. In today's episode, I would like to talk about Wall Street accepting Bitcoin more and more, about ledger and security in cryptocurrency, and Venezuela launching its own cryptocurrency. Let's start with the market here at CoinMarketCap. Generally very green. The market seems like it recovered from Bloody Tuesday and Bloody Wednesday. However, like I've mentioned in the last few episodes, the risk of a drop is still here. I would wait until the 26th. But as you know, here at Blue Alpine Research, we believe in the fundamentals of coins. So if you're investing with more of a long-term vision. Let's jump right into the first story. So as you know, there are Bitcoin futures. I've talked about Bitcoin futures and how they work in the previous episodes. And in order to buy Bitcoin futures, you need to be part of a bigger institution in general. Now, in Wall Street and through the general interest of Wall Street in cryptocurrencies, both big banks and smaller banks are under pressure in accepting some kind of financial instrument that involves Bitcoin or generally cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin being the most famous out of the group. Goldman Sachs has actually launched or started accepting the futures, the Bitcoin futures that have been released by CME and CBOE. And now the next big bank is following. So Morgan Stanley has followed the example of its competitor and started clearing the Bitcoin futures contracts. Jonathan Prusen commented on this decision. If someone wants to do a trade on the futures and settle in cash, we'll do that. I wouldn't say it's been a lot of activity, but it's for core institutional clients who want to participate in a derivatives transaction. Now, this basically means that slowly but surely, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, the blockchain in general, starts to get into Wall Street's ears. So people on Wall Street who are customers of the big banks want to get in on the action. As you've seen, a lot of volatility, a lot of gains, a lot of potential for a lot of wins. So people want to be part of that. Now, the market reacts in a way that if you pressure the market, the market players will start accepting the wishes of the potential customers. And this is exactly what happens. So if I'm a big bank, I kind of want to please my customers. So the first thing that I would do is listen to my customers. And if they are asking for Bitcoin futures in this case, I will try to make them happy. It's not exactly clear how under which conditions Morgan Stanley will introduce the Bitcoin futures, but we've seen from Goldman Sachs there are some conditions. The firm set strict conditions for some of its clients. They are demanded to set aside funds equal to the full value of their Bitcoin futures trade. This is actually not that common. So when you normally trade futures, you only back a certain amount in dollar value, and the rest is kind of covered by the bank. However, with Bitcoin being quite volatile these days, Goldman Sachs has gone forward and said, well, you have to cover the full trade amount before you can actually trade. That helps Goldman Sachs in deterring some customers. So obviously this will the futures generally, or the futures as a financial instrument, is a quite speculative instrument. So people who want to have those gains are not always willing to risk the full money amount. As Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and these big Wall Street banks are dealing with quite big customers, they don't always want to put up the money when they're playing with financial instruments like future contracts. In this case, though, they have to. So we will see how this continues to grow. Next up, Ledger. Ledger has grabbed 75 million in another funding round. As you know, when you have Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, the ideal way of saving them is in some kind of wallet. This could be a paper wallet, this could be a hardware wallet, or cold storage in some kind of way. We will on this channel actually talk about the different wallets and how you can set up a wallet and use a wallet after you've bought some cryptocurrency. So we'll talk about this in more detail. For now, Ledger is a hardware wallet company. They are producing these hardware wallets which are looking like USB sticks. And here you can see one. And those are actually saving your private keys and offering a cryptocurrency address. So if you buy on any kind of exchange and you want to send those cryptocurrencies to your wallet, you basically get an address, you transfer them to your hardware wallet, and when you plug them out, the private keys are secure on the hardware wallet. Since Bitcoin and the general cryptocurrency market has grown a lot in the past year, we can see that Ledger has secured 75 million towards this course of action. Paris-based company has been planning the launch of the Ledger Vault that will provide new solutions to financial institutions as well. Security in cryptocurrencies is quite important. Now, in the traditional model, security was kind of outsourced to the banks. So the banks had quite secure systems, or still have quite secure systems, computer systems, networks, safes, stuff like this. Now, when we move all of these things to the blockchain, we are kind of in charge of our own safety and security. So it is important that companies like Ledger and Trezor, which is another hardware wallet company, are providing us with these kind of solutions. Now, in Ledger's case, obviously, with the growing interest from Wall Street, from other banks, from financial institutions, Ledger will create new products in the hardware space in order to safely secure your cryptocurrencies. I think this is really interesting. It shows certain amount of trust towards especially Ledger, but also towards the general industry, because we do realize that if we want to grow as an industry, security and safety has to come first. We have to save our private keys in order to when we do any kind of transaction or not do any kind of transaction, we have to just make sure that the cryptocurrencies are safe. Moving on to the next story. Venezuela to issue petro cryptocurrency through token sale, plans tax deals to bolster adoption. As many of you know, Venezuela has been in an economical crisis for the last couple of years, and it hasn't properly recovered yet. So it is looking towards other methods of trying to recover the economy in some kind of way. The problem currently in Venezuela is that inflation is very high, unemployment rates are rising, and the local currency, the bolivar, is actually not accepted anymore. So people are looking for foreign currencies in order to exchange products and services. Because though the US has given Venezuela some sanctions, the amount of US dollars is quite scarce in the country. Now, Venezuela's solution for this problem is actually launching their own cryptocurrency. Now, we don't know exactly the details of this type of cryptocurrency yet, so we won't judge the petro cryptocurrency yet. But what is interesting is that they want to release part of the cryptocurrency in a token sale. And we see here that about 38 million will go to institutional investors in a month-long pre-sale. Then a token sale for the general public will be held, and 44 million petros will be sold to bring in an estimated additional 2.4 billion US dollars. The remaining 18 million petros will go to a panel of advisors who help the country with the token and to the government. Now, this is interesting that the government is trying. I think Venezuela is one of the first governments to actually try to build something on the blockchain and introduce their own cryptocurrency. I know that Russia is in talks with crypto ruble and launching their own cryptocurrency as well. So this is definitely an interesting development in general. What is special in Venezuela's case is that the petro, their currency, is oil-backed. So as you know, normally, or it used to be like that, that the US dollar or the Swiss francs are backed by gold, but and you, by trusting the system, believe that the equivalent of, let's say, a $1 bill or something equivalent is you will get the equivalent of a $1 bill in gold should you go to a bank. Now, in practice, this doesn't work anymore. The gold standard has been removed from many countries, and many countries have reduced the gold reserves. But since money is an accepted trading instrument, it's basically still working. In Venezuela's case, though, they are saying, okay, for every currency unit, you can get oil back. And here says, meaning each token will be backed by 1 barrel of Venezuelan crude. Telling you the coins can't be exchanged for the actual oil. Each petro is said to be divisible by 100 million units. So you can't just go to the Venezuelan bank and ask for oil, but you can trade this. And I guess Venezuela is banking on the fact that people are believing that technically it is backed by the oil. So you can trust it, because oil on the fiat market or on the general markets has a certain amount of value. So the cryptocurrency, the petro in this case, will have a certain amount of value as well. However, the tokens will be exchangeable for fiat currency, which will potentially help relieve the dollar shortage in the country. The Bolivar went down 3,400% against the dollar last year, while this month it went down an additional 72%. The currency is now being bypassed by even small shop owners who are increasingly demanding payments in foreign currency. So like I said, the dollar is the main currency in Venezuela, but because it is quite rare, it's a bit problem to exchange products and goods, and the Bolivar has just lost a lot in value. I'm not entirely convinced of this type of system. I think we have to wait and see to actually judge. But it is definitely interesting. It could work, given that petrol or oil in general is still a very valuable good on the market. So we will see how this goes. I just hope that the Venezuelan government has invested in proper research, in a proper team, in order to really bring this in a proper way, versus just quickly bouncing off the marketing hype of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general and launching their own cryptocurrencies. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll keep you posted. And this is the last story for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. And we make videos every day. And we have a site called bluealpineresearch.com, where we do fundamental research of the top 50 cryptocurrencies on the market. We'll see you tomorrow.